Many new features were added in the PC 1.0 version of this game. Weapon class modifiers were introduced so that it became clear how much damage each type of gun can cause. To make things even more complicated, hit area modifiers were introduced so that each specific part of the body will take specific amounts of damage. These new modifiers changed the way that damage is calculated, and we now have to take the game's new ballistic system into account if we want to stay effective with our favorite weapons. Today, we will take a close look at the game's sniper rifles. Each of these guns in this weapon class has its own strengths and weaknesses, and I will show them to you, so that you know exactly how to handle these rifles when you get your hands on them. The sniper rifle stats in PUBG remain mostly the same, but that does not mean that nothing else has changed. This side-by-side comparison will take into account the effects of the weapon class modifiers and the hit area modifiers. Sniper rifles cause 250% of damage to the head, 110% of damage to the torso, and 95% to the limbs. Since sniper rifles are all about precision shooting, it makes sense for the game to reward you with more damage when you hit the body's weak points. Marksman's rifles are also designed that way, except they deal less damage to the head at only 230%. The sniper rifles were given a higher percentage, because they fire individual shots at a time. This means that players who use sniper rifles have to make their shot count, so the new mechanics ensure that when they do land their shots in the right places. Hit area modifiers then add to the calculation on top of this. For example, shooting somebody in the belly button area is going to deal less damage than shooting somebody in the upper torso. Given the high amounts of damage that sniper rifles deal, it will be very easy to notice the advantage of aiming for the right body parts. That is why we're going to talk about each sniper rifle individually, and I will specify how much damage each sniper rifle will do to each part of the body. Let's start with the AWM. It is the most powerful bolt-action sniper rifle, and it is exclusive to airdrops. It fires a .300 Magnum rounds, and these cartridges can also only be found in these airdrops. This means that the ammo for this weapon is extremely rare, so you will need to make every shot count. Each shot is rated at an amazing 120 damage points, and this is the highest rating for all sniper rifles. On top of this huge damage rating, the 110% body shot modifier allows you to deal 132 damage points for a shot to an enemy who isn't wearing a vest. The belly button area will take 125.4 damage points per shot, while the upper chest will take 145.2 points per shot. This means that you will consistently kill your opponent with one shot, no matter where you hit him in the torso. If he does have a vest, then you will generally need 2 body shots in order to kill him. It does not matter what level that vest is. In fact, if he is wearing a level 1 vest, then you can actually keep the shot to kill requirement at 1 if you hit him in the upper chest. If you already think that the AWM is very powerful, then you're going to be more amazed from here on out. If your enemy is not wearing a helmet, you will cause 300 damage points for one single headshot. In other words, 3 full health bars. You will also deal 225 damage points for a single neck shot, and that is even higher than the M24's damage output for a normal headshot. Your opponent will always die with one shot to the neck, with or without the helmet. In other words, you better get used to making headshots with this weapon so you will become unstoppable. Hitting the limbs won't be a very big issue. You will cause 68.3 damage points for a shot to the biceps and the thighs, 57 damage for a shot to the forearms and the shins, and 34.1 damage for a shot to hands and feet. This means that you will need 3 shots to hands and feet in order to kill your enemy, and you will need 1 less bullet if you keep hitting him anywhere else on the limbs. The M24 shares a few qualities with the AWM. These are bolt-action rifles. They are both exclusive to airdrops, and they both have a magazine capacity of 5. The difference is that the M24 fires these 7.62mm cartridges, which can be found anywhere on the map. Each shot is rated at 88 damage points, and because of the 110% body shot modifier for sniper rifles, you will deal 96.8 damage for a shot to an unprotected torso. The belly button area will take 91.9 damage for a shot, while the upper chest will take 106.4. If your opponent does not have a vest, then he will die in one shot to the upper chest. You will usually need 2 shots to kill if you hit him anywhere else on the torso. This shot to kill requirement will stay the same if your enemy has a level 1 or 2 vest. If he is wearing the best vest in Battlegrounds, then you're going to need 3 shots. If your opponent is not wearing a helmet, you will cause 220 damage points for a single headshot. You will deal 165 damage for the single neck shot, and this will also immediately kill your enemy. A level 1 helmet will reduce the damage that it takes, but it won't be enough to increase your shot to kill requirement. If your opponent was lucky enough to find a level 2 helmet, then you will also need 2 neck shots in order to kill him, but he will still die with 1 single headshot. If he was very lucky and he managed to find the best helmet, then he can survive a headshot. but he will only be left with 1 HP. With the M24, he will cause 50.1 damage per shot to biceps and thighs. This means that you will need 2 shots to kill. You will deal 41.8 damage for a shot to forearms and shins, so you will need 3 shots to kill. And finally, you will deal 25 damage for a shot to hands and feet, killing your opponent in 4 shots. The KAR98K is the most commonly used bolt-action sniper rifle in Playerunknown's Battlegrounds. As you know, it fires a 7.62mm cartridges and it has a base capacity of 5 rounds, and each shot is rated at 75 damage points, which is the second lowest among all sniper rifles. Thanks to the 110% body shot modifier for sniper rifles, you will deal 82.5 damage points for a shot to an unprotected torso. The belly button area will take slightly less damage, as you know, with only 78.3 damage points, while the upper chest will take slightly more with 90.7 points. This means that you will just need 2 shots to the torso in order to kill an enemy who isn't wearing a vest, and the shot to kill requirement stays the same even if your opponent was lucky enough to find a level 1 vest. You will need 3 shots to the torso so that you can kill an enemy with a level 2 vest, but if you keep hitting the upper chest, you will only need 2 shots. The best vest in Battlegrounds will require 3 shots, regardless of which part of the torso that you hit. If your opponent is not wearing a helmet, you will deal 187.5 damage points with a headshot, and you will deal 140.6 for a neck shot. This means that you will only need 1 head or neck shot in order to kill him. If your opponent is wearing a level 1 or level 2 helmet, then you can still kill him with 1 headshot, but you will need 2 neck shots. If he has the best helmet in Battlegrounds, then you will need 2 shots to the head or neck so that you can kill him. With the KAR98K, you will cause 42.7 damage points for a shot to biceps and thighs, 35.6 for a shot to forearms and shins, and 21.3 for a shot to hands and feet. Just because the KAR98K deals the least amount of damage among these guns on this list does not mean that it's immediately useless. There are many other stats that make each sniper rifle powerful on its own right. Each weapon has its own damage per second rating, which depends on how fast it can fire shots. You might think that this stat is pretty useless, because most of these guns are single shot weapons. But being able to fire shots more quickly means that you'll be ready to fire much sooner. For prolonged firefights, we have to take into account how fast the gun reloads so that we can obtain its sustained DPS rating, or SDPS for short. The AWM has a 1.85 second delay between shots, which ranks in the middle for bolt-action sniper rifles. It does have the highest single shot damage output, which is why it has the highest DPS rating at 65. Unlike the sniper rifles that shoot the 7.62mm cartridges, the delay between shots isn't that much of a problem, considering that you will only need 1 or 2 shots to kill an enemy. It will take 3.7 seconds to load a new magazine into the AWM, and this is the fastest reload speed for sniper rifles. This gives the weapon an SDPS rating of 46, and this is the highest SDPS rating for bolt-action sniper rifles. The M24 has a 1.8 second delay in between shots. This is the fastest for a bolt-action sniper rifle, but not by much. This is combined with the weapon's high damage rating to yield a DPS score of 49. This looks like a small amount on paper, but when fighting with another sniper rifle at long range, every single point counts. The M24 will always be ready to fire 0.1 seconds faster than the KAR98K, and that can be the difference if you are the one who's going to stay alive or not. It will take 4.2 seconds to reload the M24, and this is the slowest reload speed for sniper rifles, but it's only 0.2 seconds slower than the KAR98K. The M24 has a sustained DPS rating of 33, which is just a slight upgrade from the KAR98K. This weapon on the other side has a 1.9 second delay in between shots, thanks to its bolt action mechanism. Taking into account this gun's single shot damage output, the DPS rating of the KAR98K is just 39. This is the lowest DPS rating for sniper rifles. But these types of gun were never about how fast they fire to begin with, so it doesn't actually sound that bad. It takes 4 seconds to reload this weapon, but there's more to this reload time than just this number. The gun will reload using 5 round stripper clips if you manage to use all of your cartridges in your rifle, but it will load individual bullets if you had bullets remaining. The first bullet will take 1.690 seconds to load, but each other bullet after that will take 0.75 seconds. Either way, it does give the KAR98K an SDPS rating of 28, which is the lowest for sniper rifles in Battlegrounds. The stats here look very low, but to compensate for this, the KAR98K can be found almost anywhere on the map. Speaking about precision, there are a few stats that directly affect a weapon's precision. Firstly, the spread rating determines how much your shots will deviate from where you're pointing your crosshairs. The higher the spread rating, the more likely these shots will go off the mark. Secondly, each gun has its own bullet speed rating. The slower the bullet speed, the longer a shot will take to reach its target. This will force you to lead your target a lot more when you're shooting at an enemy who's running around very far away from you. Finally, each gun has its own effective range as well. This determines how far your target has to be for your shots to stay effective. If a target is located beyond the gun's effective range, then your shots will start to lose power, and in some cases your shots might not even reach him. These are the stats that really define sniper rifles, and this sets them apart from other weapons. On paper, the AWM is superior to all other assault rifles in almost every single way. It has the lowest spread rating for sniper rifles at 0.03. It has the highest effective range at 650 meters, and it has the fastest bullet speed at 945 meters per second. The only other weapon that beats the AWM's bullet speed is a Mini-14 with 990 meters per second, but that is for the next video. The developers balanced it out by making this weapon and its ammunition exclusive to airdrops. This is flat out the best sniper rifle in this game, but you will only have a very few chances to actually use it. On top of that, you only have a limited supply of ammo. The M24 has the second highest spread rating for sniper rifles, 0.04. It has a 600 meter effective range and a bullet speed rating of 790 meters per second. These stats are direct upgrades from the KAR98K, and it uses the same ammunition, which is probably why this gun is exclusive to airdrops. There is absolutely no reason to keep the KAR98K in your loadout if you manage to get your hands on the M24. It has stronger shots, it fires faster, and it's easier to aim with compared to the KAR98K. This sniper on the other hand has a spread rating of 0.06, an effective range rating of 500 and a 760 meters per second bullet speed. As expected, these are all lower ratings than the other sniper rifles. These were all the major changes that were applied to these sniper rifles after the PC 1.0 release of Playerunknown's Battlegrounds. This was Varg Gaming, thanks for watching, and I will see you in Battlegrounds.